अग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So most of my talk, like I did not really study in depth, but this Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj has written 2 volumes of Srimati Radharani. So it would be from that I will be arriving. So who is Srimati Radharani? So Radha Tattva is very, very difficult to understand. Many people, they misunderstand about this. What is this Radha Tattva or who is Srimati Radharani? So that subject matter only it could be understood. People who are purely devoted or devotees are they hearing from persons who are in deep love with Srimati Radharani or who are in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, this Radharani is very much, or even Radha Krishna is very much misunderstood. She is like when we see pleasure giving potency, Ladini Shakti. There is Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. Krishna has many potencies. His internal energy, it is in 3 parts. Sandhini, that is the existential, Samvit, that is knowledge, cognizant, and Ladini, that is the bliss giving potency. So that bliss giving potency, that is the manifestation of that, is Srimati Radharani. So she is pleasure giving potency of the Lord, rendering service unto him eternally in the material and spiritual realms. How she gives in the material world also we will see that. So Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed 2 bodies. This they have so that they could enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. So why Krishna has to come to the material world? That question may be asked. That may, by hearing or seeing their activity, we may be attracted to Radha and Krishna, to go back home, back to Godhead. We think that we are in the material world from time immemorial. We do not know for how long we are here, and we are so much accustomed for this material sense enjoyment that when somebody tells them about that there is some spiritual realm where you don't have to go through birth, death, old age, disease, or all kinds of material miseries, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, you could go there eternally and play with Krishna. So Krishna shows playing mood or play pastimes. So Radharani is manifestation of Krishna's love. Krishna is energetic and Radha is energy. So energy and energetic you cannot separate. Just like so Antaranga Tattva or how they can, just like fire and heat, you cannot separate. You cannot separate sweetness of the sugar and sugar itself. Both are there together. Same thing, Ladini Shakti or Shakti and Shaktiman. They are always together. So Ladini Shakti is the bliss by which the Lord gives pleasure, and devotees are also, they are nourished by that pleasure. The essence of the Ladini potency is the love of God. The essence of love of God is emotion, that is called bhav, and Mahabhav Radharani is Mahabhav Swarupini. So everybody has some emotions, but emotion when it matures into, so that is the bhav, and bhav, and Radharani is the topmost among the bhav. That's why she has Mahabhav Swarupini. महाभाव स्वरूपिणी राधा ठाकुरानी सर्व गुण खानी Krishna Kanta Shiromani. She is topmost among all the Krishna Kantas. From her, just like Krishna is one. So from her warm side or left side, Radharani appears. And from right side, Balramji appears. These both two completes the whole giving potency to the Krishna. Krishna is one. Eko Vai Bhushyam. He wants to become so many, to enjoy. And because one alone cannot enjoy. And that's why people have children or get married to enjoy each other, unless it is in a pure form. But if it is contaminated, then it is much trouble giving. But so Krishna on the left side is Srimati Radharani, and right side is Balramji. Balramji from comes two Chaturvyas. One makes the spiritual world, and another one makes all the material world. And Radharani, her expansion, Krishna expands also into so many like Narayan and Vishnu and so many incarnations like Ram and Narsimha or Varar. So many that come from Krishna. And from Radharani comes all the, Radharani comes this Dwarka's queens, 8 Patrani and 16,100 other queens that comes from Srimati Radharani. Also the Lakshmis, Lakshmi Shastra Samram, who are with, they also come from Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani expands in this way like Krishna expands. Her mind, senses, and body are steeped in love for Krishna. So for us also, that we should be steeped in our all the body, mind, senses, positions, everything should be for Krishna. So she is the only source of enjoyment for Sri Krishna. So we have to please Srimati Radharani. Radha word, if you speak, then Krishna runs behind that person. So Radha is very, very important. When we say that we are Gaudiyas, Gaudiyas means we are lover of Srimati Radharani. Gaudiya means that is, so Srimati Radharani, who is the attraction for all attractive. So she is Madan Mohan, is Krishna, and Madan Mohan Mohini is Srimati Radharani. The beloved consort of Lord Krishna are three kinds that we have discussed: goddesses of fortune, the queens, and the milkmaids of the Vraj. So milkmaids of the Vraj are the topmost. Govinda Nandini Radha, Govinda Mohini, Govinda Sarvasva, Sarvakanta Shiromani. She is the one who gives pleasure to the Govinda, and she is the topmost among all of this. Lord Krishna enchants the world, but Sri Radha enchants even him also, to Krishna also. Radha is full power, and Lord Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different, is evidenced by the revealed scriptures. Srimati Radharani is the transformation of Krishna's love. She is his internal energy called Ladini Shakti. So who is Radharani? That you understand that she is the pleasure going potency or giving potency to Krishna. There are many, many pastimes of Srimati Radharani, but whatever we can finish. But so I will just, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he is the one who brought the glory of Srimati Radharani. Nobody knew before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Srimati Radharani. Yadi Gaurna hoite, tabeti hoite, kemono dharitam de, Radhar Mahima, Prema Rasasima, Jagat Janate ke. Who will not understand about Radharani's Mahima and her Prem? You all can speak about Krishna. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Klesha Nasaya Govindaya Namo Namah. There are 5 names of Krishna, and if we pay obeisances, then all kinds of klesha or disturbances can be removed. So the transcendental loving relationship between Radha and Krishna. What is their loving relationship? So Lord descends to this material world, that is I told, to attract the conditioned souls, so they could be living entity. So his whole purpose in the to come here is that we could sing those glories, we could read those their pastimes, and that clarifies our heart, which has been contaminated from so many lifetimes, one layer after another. So we cannot see that we are servant of Krishna. Jivar Surupa Krishna Nitya Das. We cannot see that at all, or we cannot realize that unless that heart is cleansed. Love is from the heart and not from the mind. So we could serve the Lord or we could love the Lord in many different mellows. This Shantaras, that is only for Vaikuntha planet. When we Shanta means you don't have closer relationship. You see with awe and reverence. That is mostly in the Vaikuntha planet is the Shantaras. But Dashya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, that ras is in the Golok Vrindavan. And topmost on the Golok Vrindavan is is Vraj. Vraj. So loving relationship between Krishna and Srimati Radharani and the other gopis is really, it bewilders the most of the materialistic people. So material activity, because they see that from their point of view, they do not try to understand from a scriptural point or from sadhu, shastra or guru. They understand it from, because Krishna has sometimes ordinary activity, sometimes those activity which may be called as degrading activity, but that is also gives pleasure to the devotees. Why this, like butter thieving or stealing the clothing or ras dance? It bewilders many people. People, they talk about this in many different ways, but unless they read, that's why Prabhupada says, even he was in Ahmedabad or he was asked to tell about Ras Leela. He says that I cannot tell that Ras Leela. It is not that ordinary or easy. You have to understand nine up to ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and know about Krishna. Who is Krishna? Who are his devotees? And who is Srimati Radharani? So Krishna's superhuman activity. So people, they, and there are some human-like activity, and also there are some activity which are not human. It's even beyond or below the human-like activity. Uh, but that gives pleasure to the devotees. So, what is the meaning of transcendental? Krishna is a trans. What is the meaning of transcendental? What trans means? Trans means they are about the modes of the material nature. There are three modes of material nature, and it's a beyond that. That is transcendental. So, activities of the living entity uh, in this material world are performed by the influence of the three modes of material nature. Uh, Mode of goodness, patience, and ignorance, they carry all the activity in the material world. So Krishna is sometimes called Nirguna. Nirguna means that he has not these three gunas. He is beyond these three gunas. That is Nirguna. That's why. But Krishna does not, cannot be known by people who are not pure-hearted. In Bhagavad Gita also, Naham Prakasha Sarvashva Yoga Maya Samavrata Mudoyam Nabhijanati Lokoyam Ajam Avyayam. I am never manifested to the foolish and unintelligent. There he is covered by his internal potency, and they do not understand Krishna, who is unborn and infallible. So we should not try to understand God or measure God according to a perception of our measuring scale. We cannot measure from the material point of view. There was one milkmaid man, and she was simple lady. She was measuring. She had a jug, and she was measuring rice, and she used to make rice and water or rice for cooking. So we used to measure with that. And she went one day to buy a cloth. So she took her jug, because every day for long years she was measuring with this jug. So she says that don't measure. He was giving in feet or inches or meter, or he says no, measure with my jug, because that's what I am used to. So people, whatever they get used to, they measure with that scale. We measure Krishna by our material scale, but we cannot measure because of his. We cannot measure God with conventional ways as measuring things in this material world. So only by Krishna's mercy, just like we can see the sun by the sun rays, by the sun himself, we can see the sun and everything else. Same thing that we can understand Krishna by Krishna's energy, by Krishna himself, he lets us know. So if one receives but a tiny bit of the Lord's favor by dint of devotional service, he can understand the nature of the supreme personality of Godhead. By the help of sunlight, we can see the sun. Same way, we can see the Krishna by his mercy. So, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. He, in our heart, he manifests Divya Gyan. Divya Gyan means transcendental, beyond this material nature. By the mercy of God, we can understand the truth beyond God, not by achieving a doctorate degree or any degree whatsoever. You have to be pure enough to receive the proper mercy to understand transcendental topics. Krishna also says the transcendental nature of Krishna's activity, just like in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti sorjuna. That one who knows the transcendental nature, and so beyond these material modes, my appearance and activities, does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but he attains his eternal abode in Golok Vrindavan. So people, they measure, they take whatever fits in their measurement. That is called Ardha Kukkut Nyaya. Ardha Kukkut Nyaya means Okay, this eggs are coming from the back part, the head is just eating, so let me cut it off. So in the same way that they take the portion of the scripture that helps them justify their opinion, but they do not take the whole teaching into consideration. They take some part which fits into their measurement. The love between Radha and Krishna, this was discussed by Srila Sukdev Goswami. So Sukdev Goswami was a brahmachari and he was completely like renounced, and he was discussing in all these topics. So he would not be discussing about Srimati Radharani unless it was transcendental. He was beyond these material modes. So prem and calm, love and lust, they look similar, and that's why people get confused. But unallied loving relationship between the living entity and God, that is love. So love, Krishna, Krishnendriya Priti Ichha Dhare Prem Nam. The desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna, that is prem. Just like you water the root, then whole tree and everything becomes green and flourishes. Same thing if you say that, because the cause of everything, Sarva Karana Karanam, is Krishna. So if we satisfy Krishna, then automatically we will be happy. But if we satisfy our senses, that is very flickering, that is very temporary, and it would go away. So pure love does not mean I love Krishna for my sense gratification, but rather for the pleasure of Krishna's senses. So we are only familiar with the lustful affairs. We are not familiar. So the lust arises among the living entity in this material world from the mode of passion. So kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudo, mahashano mahapapma viddeham eva vairinam. So the love of gopis is called Rudha Bhav, and it is pure and spotless. It is not at all, of any time, it is not lust, but people misunderstand that. Love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful. So, love means even so many social customs, they block gopis not to go for Ras Leela, but they give away social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive actions, shyness, patience, bodily pleasure, self gratification, path of varnashram, so which is difficult to give up. So gopis, they gave up, forsaken all of this for pleasure of Krishna. They gave up their families, they suffered their relatives' punishment and scolding, all the sake of for service of Lord Krishna. They render loving service to him for the sake of his enjoyment. So this is called firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It is spotlessly pure, like a clean cloth that has no stain. So we should be prepared to do anything for Krishna and everything to please the Lord, even at the risk of violating the Vedic principles or ethical laws. Just like gopis gave up Vedic customs because they are Vedi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. They were all in Raganuga. Rag means spontaneous attachment to Krishna. Vedi is you have to push yourself. I have to chant, I have to wake up early, I have to take a bath. Those things do not bother for people who are Raganuga and Ragatmika. Ragatmika for the people who are living in the Braj. Their love is called Ragatmika, who are direct Krishna's expansion. But other people, like we could follow in the footsteps of the Braj Gopis, who are Ragatmika devotees. So we are called Raganugas or Rupanugas. We should not mistakenly think that the idea of giving up everything implies the renunciation of duties necessary in the relation to body and mind. Such duties are not sense gratification if they are undertaken in a spirit of service to Krishna. Like you had this Janmashtami celebration, many devotees they helped, but they were doing for Krishna's pleasure. So that is all taken as a service to Krishna, as a chanting or as a prem to Krishna, love for Krishna. People they give up so many things, hours and hours, don't sleep. But why? It is for taking care of uh, to please Krishna. So same thing, like one time, just a little story. One time, Krishna was telling, Krishna and Narad Muni was passing through a farm or field, and Krishna says, he is my pure devotee, one who was plowing the field. So how he could be? He does not chant, he does not do anything. How he could be pure devotee? He has not done any uh, austerities. So Krishna asked him that, Narad Muni, bring a pot, fill up with the oil to the brim, and walk through the field and come to me. So he did that, but his attention was on the oil in the pot, so it does not spill out. So, and then he came. Somehow, after careful doing that, walking step by step, thinking of the oil, not thinking of Krishna. But when he came, that how many times did you think of me? You are my devotee. He said, I could not think of you at all. Why not? Because my mind, you asked me that oil should not get spilled. So that's what my, so that is also, if devotees are doing for Krishna, that is Krishna's service. That is love for Krishna. So we should not make, so we do not have to give up anything. Like today was my niece's twin babies, they were born. But if they take care of them as a given to them as part of Krishna, as duty to Krishna, then that taken care of the children, that also becomes part of Krishna consciousness. Getting married, earning, bringing or going to the shops, like many, I heard the names of many, they went to buy different things for the feast, for the festival, to offer to Krishna. But if it is taken in the spirit of service to Krishna, then it becomes a devotional service. I don't mean that you do not have to chant. You have to chant that what you have promised to Krishna, but at the same time, you could do other services as part of Krishna consciousness. So lust is like a dense darkness, and love is the bright sun. So there is not the slightest tinge of lust in the gopis' love. Their relationship with Krishna is only for the sake of his enjoyment. Material world is a perverted reflection of spiritual world. Just like Urdhva Mula Madha Shakha in 15.1 Bhagavad Gita, that original place is Krishna's abode, Krishna's home. And this material world is just a reflection. And reflection is never like, say, even in the mirror you see, right side seems left side seems right side. Or the roots seem like tree, seems upside down. Or you see that there are fruits and you jump in the tree, in the river to get those fruits or mango. You cannot get it. There is nothing there. So the material world, enjoyment is very temporary, flickering, and it is not real. The tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. This reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire, just as a tree's reflection is situated on the water. So desire, if you desire to have Krishna, if your desire is pure, Krishna fulfills that. But you have to do certain activity. So activities in the spiritual world are related to God. That's why it is bona fide and real, not Maya or illusory. Here, everything, according to our own concoction or mind, it is all illusory. The Lord enjoys himself in two ways, Swakiya and Parikiya Ras. So why there is Parikiya Ras is so much uh, that we, in the spiritual Golok Vrindavan, there is only Swakiya Ras. But Krishna comes to enjoy Parikiya Ras, means he makes us to believe that he is not married to Radharani. Although Radharani is his part, all the Jiva souls are part and parcel. Jivera Swarupa or Mamay Vanshu, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. So indeed, we are meant to serve Krishna. We are part, and part is to serve the whole. Just like our finger, our hands want to serve our food in the stomach. So reflection is perverted. The parkyaras of the spiritual world should not be discussed except for one who is very much advanced. That's why Prabhupada would not talk about Ras Leela or other things, because people are, unless they are devotees for long time and they understand Krishna fully, then only they could discuss. So, so Krishna can have loving affairs with each and every one of us entity, because he is the supreme enjoyer. So one may say, why not that I worship demigods, I worship other forms of Krishna, but full form of Krishna. And Krishna enjoys directly with his devotees. He is unlimited, and he could have unlimited way of reciprocating with his children or with all of us. And children means not just us, but all the living beings, means trees and grass and animals and insects and birds. Everybody can relate to Krishna. People in the material world, they think what they think is happiness. In the spiritual world, love is to give happiness, whereas in the material world, love is to find happiness for yourself. Material world, we find love for ourselves, but in the spiritual world, it is to give pleasure to Krishna. So Gopi's relationship with Krishna was not for sense gratification, just to give pleasure to Krishna, Like you hear about this headache that Krishna had and how the gopis said, let us go to hell, does not matter. Let us clear the headache of Krishna. So they, even if they have to go to hell. Maro biya, rakho biya, ichha jo tumar. So whatever, rasli shiva padartam pinustumam, adarsham marmahatam parotuma, yatha tatha va lampato matadhatu. Means I am, yes, your servant or a slave, whatever you want, we want to keep you happy. So satisfaction of Krishna, that is the gopis, then they feel very, very happy. Just in the material world, we could see that if the child is happy, the mother is happy. So they see the happiness of the child. So same thing, one could see the happiness of Krishna and automatically they will feel happy. So that relation is there only with Krishna, not in the material world. Everybody wants to enjoy themselves. So material lust cannot be engaged in the service of the Lord, or it is applicable to the materialist, not to Krishna. But prem is full service rendered unto the Lord. So Vraja gopis are not different from Krishna. They are, like as I said, that gopis are expansion from Srimati Radharani. So they are directly like Krishna. They are all Swakiyas. But Parkiya, you may say that why this Parkiya? Because they have to be very, very careful in service. Just like somebody is married and then he has another lover. So she would be very careful in her activity and would always think of him even while doing other activity. So Krishna wants to enjoy that. You may say, why in the material world, why it is so degrading? Because it is for their own enjoyment, not for Krishna's enjoyment. Everybody is looking for their enjoyment. So when Lord descends to this material world, he comes here along with his abode and all the associates, they all come. So associates of Krishna are not ordinary living entity who are marginal potency of the Lord. We are marginal potency. There are three potencies: internal potency, external potency, and marginal potency. We are part of the marginal potency. The internal potency means the potency of Krishna that is within himself. So internal energy that Krishna just like it is his Swarup Shakti, from his Swarup, and it is not different from him. Radharani is the personification of the Ladini Shakti, or the pleasure giving potency of the Lord. So it is manifested and unmanifested. Radha manifests from Lord's transcendental body and takes a form visible outside. The Hladini potency is an energy of Krishna that is there within the body of Krishna. When the Hladini potency takes form, it's called Radharani. So she is Mahabhav Swarupini Shri Radha Thakurani, Sarva Guna Kanti, Krishna Kanta Shiromani. She is topmost. So essence of the Hladini Shakti is the love of Godhead. Essence of love of Godhead is Bhav. And what is Bhav? Bhav is sentiment, transcendental sentiment, that is called Bhav, and Radharani is Mahabhav Swarupini. So Radharani appeared from Krishna's body. So they become 1 to 2. And later on as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they become these two forms, they became one. He takes the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are three internal reasons. One that he is spreading, that is external, to spread Krishna's names, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, to spread. But another part that he comes to, what is his sweetness, his madhurya, sweetness of Krishna, how she serves me and enjoys more than I enjoy. She is serving me, but she enjoys more than me. And what is her bhav or emotion in serving me? So because of these three, he takes the like bodily hue as well as the sentiment of Srimati Radharani. So Antar Krishna, Bahir Radharani. Outside she is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radharani. That's why he is Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gauravarna, and inside he is Krishna. So he is Krishna and Radha both together, and both two are also Radha and Krishna together, but Krishna separated into two eternally, that he separated. So it needs a spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. So Golok Vrindavan, and now there is a mountain called Rasa Mandal. The place is called Rasa Mandal, and mountain is called Shata Shranga. Shata Shranga is the mountain that comes in the material world. Bhulo is called Govardhan, and this Ras Mandal they have in the material in Gokula or in the Vraj Vrindavan. So Lord Krishna saw Radharani, he wanted to enjoy with her. Knowing this, her form became even more beautiful. So when Krishna and Radha are together, their both beauty and their both sweetness increases more and more together. You could see the full form of Radha and Krishna if they are together. If you are separately seeing Radharani or separately seeing Krishna, that's why Prabhupada wanted to have Radha Krishna worship. In Gaudiya's temples, very rarely you will find Bal Gopal or worship is there, because that is the Krishna is eternally youth and Radharani youth like 15-year-old and Radharani maybe 12, 13-year-old. They are eternally in that form, and we worship in their eternal form what they are in the Golok Vrindavan. You may say in Vatsalya Bhav, yes, you can worship Bal Gopal, that is true, but Gaudiya Vaishnavas they always worship Radha and Krishna together. One may say, why not Rukmini in Rukmini Dwarkadhish? So that is also that is there. But Rukmini Dwarkadhish, they are from Dwarka. That is called, it is New Dwarka. That temple is called New Dwarka because it's not Radha and Krishna worship. In Dwarka, it is like Krishna, when he never leaves, and Radharani never leaves Vrindavan. They are always there in Vrindavan, Radharani and Krishna. So Krishna, he goes to Mathura. He is there at sometime 200 or sometime 400, and when he is in Dwarka, he is mostly 400. That's why this Pondrak was imitating, and he had 4 hands because Krishna had 4 hands at that time. So, so what does he do? He and gopis, they just play together. There is no. So Krishna, when he goes, there is Vasudev. Vasudev's son is Vasudev. Vasudev is brought to Mathura, from Mathura prison house to Gokul, where Krishna was born. So this Vasudev enters into the body of Krishna, and Krishna has all different expansion that comes from him is in Krishna. When original Krishna comes, which he comes in one day of Brahma, in 1000 Chaturyugis, he comes in this. It's a Vaivasvat Manvantar, 28th Chaturyugi. So he comes in that way. So now why this name Radha is there? He appeared in the Ras Mandal and immediately ran to serve the Lord, picking flowers. She is known as Radha. Ra means represent the Ras Mandal, and the Dha represents the Dhavamanam. Dhavamanam means running. Also, there is another reason, because she appeared in the Ras Mandal and was running Dhavamana to the Lord. When she saw him, very enthusiastic to enjoy a Raman. Raman means the Ra word comes from this Raman. So that's why when we say Hare and Rama is also, Ram means Raman or to play, to enjoy. So that is Raman and not Lord Ramchandra. Her name is Radha. राधा पूर्ण शक्ति, कृष्ण पूर्ण शक्तिमान, द्वि वस्तु भेदनाई शास्त्र प्रमाण. Radha and Krishna are one in the truth. Krishna, so that's why when Krishna is playing with Srimati Radharani, it should not be thought as a amorous loving relation between boy and girl in the material world. Krishna is manifested in an unlimited number of Bhagavad Swarup, and Radha is manifested in an unlimited number of Kanta Shakti. So we discuss that part. So we talked about this Parikya relationship. Such a person has to overcome all these hindrances by disobeying normal codes of conduct that intensify the love. These disturbances, they intensify, and this love is known as Parikya Ras. And Yoga Maya arranges that. Yoga Maya makes them forget and arranges false marriages with other gopis. Just like Radharani was married to Abhimanyu, and there was Jatila and Kutila. We think that they are bad ladies, but they are not bad ladies. They are enhancing the pastimes of Krishna. That way, they both enjoy more and more, and we read some of the stories about them. I know my time is very limited, but there are hundreds and hundreds of stories. So Ras Leela and how it happened, but how this Kusum Sarovar, I will read some few pastimes, just couple minutes. So Kusum Sarovar. So one it is a, there is a beautiful forest in Vrindavan. The presence of other beloved Radha and Krishna. So gopis were collecting some flowers in a basket, and some flowers fell down. So what happened? That Krishna thought that I will pick up these flowers and make the bread. So he wanted to wash those flowers which fell down, because very nice fragrant flowers were there. So he said that let me. So he thought that with his flute he dug the pond, and then by the digging the pond, that became kusum. Kusum means flowers. Soror means a big pond or lake, and that was manifested because of Krishna's desire to wash those flowers. They were growing. There was a forest with so many flowers, and gopis were picking them, and they could not keep in their basket. It fell down, and Krishna made a beautiful flower like dress on the braid of the Srimati Radharani. Uh, so sometime they steal their blanket, and then they say that it has gone to cow has eaten that, and then they go to Yashoda Mai, and so Krishna is asking, "Where is my blanket?" They say, "Once, Kana, I saw cow eating your blanket, and my dear mother, please tell me now, how could a kind-hearted cow eat my blanket?" So that is just for joking that they do that. Ananta Sai Vishnu, so Srimati Radharani and her Sakhis wanted to see the Ananta Shai. Ananta Shai means who lies down on Ananta Shesh or Sheshnag and form of Krishna. And so Krishna showed them that form. So Krishna immersed in the tattva of Ananda Shai Vishnu, lying down on the milk ocean with Srimati Radhika in the mood of Lakshmi Devi, massaging his lotus feet. So Lakshmi is also an expansion from Srimati Radharani. One time Krishna was with the Radharani in Yavat. Yeah. So Radharani's birth, everybody knows. She is father and mother is Vrashabhanu, and Kirtida Sundari is the mother. But that was not born from the womb of Kirtida Sundari. One time, Himwan had a beautiful daughter by name Parvati or Uma. Very, very beautiful, married to Lord Shiva. And later on, this Vindhya mountain was very, very high quite some time back, and he was obstructing even the sun going to the south. So one time his Guru Maharaj is Agasthamani. So he says that he paid obeisances lying down, and he says, until I come back from south, do not stand up. So she remained lying down. So that's why now the Vindhya mountain is very, very low. Vindhya was higher or taller than Himalaya. So he prayed to Brahmaji that for a long time, and he said that I want a more beautiful daughter than Himwan has, because there is a rivalry, there is a competition. So not in a envious way. So he prayed to, and he asked Brahma to give me more beautiful daughter, and her husband should also be the topmost, better than Lord Shiva. So he got Radharani as his daughter. And so mountain could walk, mountain could talk, mountain could pray, could do tapasya. And later on, so Radharani was born, even Astasakis were born, Chandravali was born. So Chandravali she is Dakshinangi. She is very, very mild, mellow, and Radharani is, she is sulky, she has man, she will sometimes scold to Krishna, not let her come to her groves, and many, many ways. And that increases the, just always softness does not make one pleasure. So that's why they have this both Chandravali and Srimati Radharani. But there are 8 Sakhis are aware also. So Putna was looking for who were born within just 10 days. So Kansa was ordered her to go and kill everybody. So she picks up these children when she heard that in the mountain had just a newly born daughter and other so many daughters. So she is carrying them, and by the Yog Maya, she does all the activities. So they became very, very heavy, and she had to drop down Radharani at a place where Vrashabhanu was meditating on Yamuna, part of the Yamuna, and there was a golden flower with 1,000 petals and very soft bed, and so she dropped her there. And then Vrashabhanu opened his eyes from meditation and saw. She became very, very happy, and she brought and gave it to his wife Kirtida Sundari. But her eyes were closed, they were very much worried. And then Krishna, so they were celebrating the birth of Srimati Radharani, and then they invited Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai and Krishna and Balram. And so when they were talking together, Krishna sneaks away and then walks and then on the cradle, he puts his hand, and on the cradle he touches with his breath and touch. Radharani knew that this is my Krishna. So they see Krishna. She wanted to see the Krishna, and she opened eyes and she started crying, or not crying, just laughing, joking, and everybody knew. So we should also, whenever we wake up, we should see Krishna first. We should have some picture or deities or form. It's always good that our whole day would go very, very nicely in remembrance of Krishna. So first thing we should do is to chant the name or see the temple, and some sadhus, they go and crawl by keeping their eyes closed and to the temple and open their eyes when they see the deity of Krishna. So Purnamasi, so he and in Yavat, they were together, and so Krishna saw that Jatila and Kutila are coming, so he sneaked out, but his flute he forgot there. So now they are coming and they wanted to catch them red-handed, that Radharani was together with Krishna. Krishna is coming here. So, what Purnamasi said, that they saw, oh, you saw, she is asking what happened. Oh, this flute is there. Otherwise, how the flute? This flute belongs to Krishna. So, Purnamasi said that it was last night. You did not know that there was a rain of so many flutes. Flutes were raining, and that's why it is coming in the room of Shrimati Radharani's room. So Krishna make many funs with Radharani and Gopishwar Mahadev. So I will end here just with, because there are so many stories. So Gopishwar Mahadev, see, he wanted to join the Ras Leela. So Purnamasi told that Mahadev, he worshipped Purnamasi Devi in order to please that he could say, or he could get some permission to the Ras Leela. So he went to the Brahmakund. Brahmakund is still there. People might have seen who goes to Vrindavan. There is a Brahmakund. Few years back, there was a big renovation of the Brahmakund. She was inside a kunj located at the northern side of the Ras Leela area. How long was the Ras Leela until it took place? What was the time period? 1 night, 2 nights? It was for a whole day of Brahma, I mean 1000 Chaturyugis. It continued. But by the Yog Maya, nobody knew their age. They did not age. They were just sleeping in their whatever. But that is was for Ras Leela, was not for a short time. And Ras Leela, if we hear about the Ras Leela, then people who are pure, their all the lusty desire would go away, or they would become more and more pure. But it should be heard by a person who is very pure. So Mahadev ji, and then he gave him the that okay, you could stand and protect that nobody wrong people. So there is Gopeshwar Mahadev is in Vrindavan, is in like Bhuvaneshwar, that is if you go to Jagannath Puri, so he is the protector of the dhams. And Nandeshwar is in Nandagaon. So all this, so Lord Shiva protects the dhams from entrance of the wrong people. So thank you very much. If there is any comments or questions, yes, Prabhuji. You are always first. So I'm happy.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. My question is this. I know Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati once said the only reason we're interested in Krishna is because Radharani is interested in Krishna. And I know the Goswamis, they're all servants of Radharani. My question is, should we then focus more or aspire more to become a servant of Radharani than to become a servant of Krishna?
See, they are both together. They are not different. So you worship Radha, and Radharani will never remain alone. She would always be with Krishna. Just like Sita Ram or Parvati and Lord Shiva. So why we should separate them? Ravan wanted to do the same thing. She took Sita and one. So why we should separate them? We should worship both together. That's what we are doing. Yes, Prabhuji. See, Yog Maya is assisting the pastimes. So Yog Maya is a different personality. Radharani is not Yog Maya. Radharani is the means Shakti of Shri Krishna to enjoy or have their pastimes. But Yog Maya arranges all these pastimes. Yogmaya, you say Vranda Devi or Purnamasi, you could call as Yogmaya because she also arranges her. Mostly it is Vranda Devi. Tulsi Maharani, it is very dear because Tulsi in her form is called Vranda Devi. She arranges that. So she is Yogmaya. But you see, Yogmaya and Mahamaya, they are transformation. For a material world, it is Mahamaya. When Kansa took that Yogmaya, from the Yogmaya is the daughter of Yashoda Mai. And Subhadra is different. Subhadra was born to Vasudeva and Devaki in Dwarka, but Yogamaya was born along with Krishna in Gokul. And so Yogamaya and Radharani is not the same. She enjoys with Krishna, she plays with Krishna, and Yogamaya arranges all that. Sandhini potency. Hmm. As far as far I know, Sandhini potency does not arrange all these meeting. Sandhini is existential that we remain, but it is not Sandhini potency does not do that. Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini Shakti. Samvit that we understands about Krishna. That is cognizant potency, knowledge. And third one is Ladini, which is Ladini Shakti takes the form as Srimati Radharani, who gives pleasure to Krishna. Okay. Okay. Yeah, anyone else says? Why Radharani is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam? Uh-huh. Because Radharani is not mentioned, that's one thing that Sukadeva Goswami, who is describing about these pastimes, he is the parrot of Srimati Radharani. He knows about Srimati Radharani. She is the mistress, she always. So if he would have described one Radharani, it would be so much that he would be in tears, he would be in love, or he would, and it would be impossible for him to continue describing the glories of like Radha and Krishna. So that's why he kept it hidden. Although so much written about the gopis in Vrindavan, many chapters are there, but not directly Radharani. But Aradhita, there is some verse in 10th canto. No, right. So that is about Srimati Radharani, one who is the topmost, who does aradhana, or love to Krishna, or service to Krishna. So it is there, but not in directly just Radha. Okay. ओके ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीमती राधा रानी की